Hello and welcome back. Today we're doing puzzle number 18 in the Puzzle Baron's Fiendish Logic Puzzle book by Stephen P. Ryder. Centenarians, about people who are 100 years old or older. We have 7 different people from 7 different states and 7 different hometowns. So let's just jump right in. We have number 1. The 7 people are Zachary. The 3 from Oregon, Pennsylvania, and South Dakota. And the 3 who live in New Liberty, Jackson, and Fruitland, which isn't in Connecticut. Okay, so let's start by here. Fruitland is not Connecticut. Make it a mark of all the ones that are identified by clue number 1 as being on the list of the 7. If that makes sense. I just like to put a little dot or something. Okay, so Zachary cannot be from Fruitland, Jackson, or New Liberty. Nor can he be from Oregon, Pennsylvania, and South Dakota. Yes. Now these cities, Fruitland, Jackson, New Liberty, they can't be from Oregon, Pennsylvania, or South Dakota either. You know, saying pencil like that, it just made me realize that I'm not doing this in pencil, which I really should. Okay. I guess that's all we know right now. Good. Okay. The person who lives in Tehama is 2 years older than the person who lives in Jackson. All right. We're separated by an interval of 1 year, consistently good. So if Tehama, okay, so if Jackson is the youngest, then the youngest Tehama can be is 111. And if Tehama is the oldest Jackson can be is 113. All right. Of Doris and the youngest of the 7, one is a native of Oregon and the other lives in Fruitland. So Doris is not the youngest. However, this does tell us one more thing, because as you notice, this is where we might say, oh, Oregon can't be Fruitland. We already knew that. So this also tells me that Doris and the youngest of the 7, they're both already on the list. They're either Oregon or Fruitland, so they can't be anything else on the list. So for example, if Doris was Oregon, she couldn't be Fruitland, Jackson, New Liberty. And if she was Fruitland, she couldn't be Oregon, Pennsylvania, South Dakota. So we can X all that out. So she could be Fruitland, but not Jackson, not New Liberty. And she could be Oregon, but not Pennsylvania, not South Dakota. And that means Zachary can't be the youngest, and the youngest can't be Pennsylvania, South Dakota, Jackson, or New Liberty. Make sense? The 113-year-old and the New Mexico native. One is Zachary, the other lives in New Liberty. So, first off, New Mexico is not 113. And Zachary doesn't live in New Liberty, which we already know. You might see where we're going to go with this. So 113 has to either be Zachary or New Liberty. Can't be Oregon, Pennsylvania, South Dakota, and New Mexico. Oh, can't be Jackson, Plymouth. That was it, right? Plymouth? No, Fruitland. Excuse me. Let me get rid of that dot I accidentally put there. I guess I can't get rid of it. Drift it out. Okay. Because 113 is either Zachary or it's New Liberty. So, can't be Fruitland. This one, no, that could be Fruitland. All right. Let's go. Whoever lives in Plymouth is 1 year younger than the person who lives in Green. I don't think I need to explain that at this point. Olivia, who doesn't live in New Liberty, is either the New Mexico native or lives in Tehama. So New Mexico is not Tehama either. Just like it's not, it has to be either Zachary or New Liberty. Okay, let's see. I'm noticing that clue number 4 mentions New Mexico and New Liberty, and so does number 6. So Olivia is either from New Mexico or Tehama, but if she is, but she can't be New Liberty, but if she couldn't be, okay, here it is, now I've got it. Okay, the New Mexico native must be either Zachary or in New Liberty. Olivia explicitly does not live in New Liberty, and she obviously isn't Zachary. Therefore, she could not be the New Mexico native, and she also can't be the 113-year-old, so she must live in Tehama. Olivia in Tehama. Very good. And that's not 113. And that's not New Mexico. Yes. Alright, and Tehama. Alright, and going back to clue number 1, Olivia, as we said before, can't be Zachary. And not from any of these 3 places, not from New Liberty, Jackson, or Fruitland, Tehama. So she has to be from Oregon, Pennsylvania, or South Dakota in order to fit on the list. Okay? Shari isn't 112. Maddie is younger than the person from Plymouth, who is 2 years younger than the Texan. All right, let's draw a little diagram. So we got the Texan, who's the oldest, and then Plymouth, and then Maddie is some amount younger than that. So this tells us right away, Maddie is not from Plymouth, Texas. Plymouth is not in Texas. And now we can take a look. So Maddie has to be younger than the person from Plymouth. She can't be the oldest. And Plymouth can't be the youngest, because that's not older than anyone. And there we need to add 2 years to get our Texan. So Texas is 2 years older than Plymouth. So the youngest it could be, if Plymouth was the youngest, would be 111. But since Plymouth can't be the youngest Texas can be is 112. And if Texas was the oldest, then the oldest that Plymouth could be is 113. Yes. And Maddie has to be some amount younger than Plymouth. Yeah, it's Maddie, right? So the youngest they could be is 112. Correct? Yes. Very good. And we also know that Plymouth is 1 year younger than Green. Younger than Green. All right. And since Plymouth is 1 year younger than Green and 2 years younger than Texas, we know that Green is not Texas either. We can scratch that out. Oh, did we get Plymouth is not Texas yet? We did, I just put it in the wrong column. Pardon my error. Okay. Fruitland is 1 year younger than the South Dakotan. Okay, we already knew that Fruitland couldn't be South Dakota, but now we know it's 1 year younger. Can't be 112. Very good. A quick thing, going back to this drawing, if Fruitland is 1 year younger than South Dakota, and Plymouth is 1 year younger than Greene, Fruitland and Plymouth are not the same place, therefore Greene and South Dakota are not the same place. South Dakota can't be Greene either, so we can scratch that out. Because if you took one less than Greene, it would be Plymouth. One less than South Dakota would be Fruitland. Not the same. Great. All right. This seems like a juicy, very interesting clue. It's going to really scratch some things out for us. Because New Liberty is 4 years older than Doris. And Doris already can't be the youngest. So, 4 years older than Doris. Okay. So if Doris was the youngest, then the youngest New Liberty could be is 113. Yeah, but we know that Doris can't be the youngest, so the youngest that New Liberty could be is 114. And if New Liberty is the oldest, then the oldest Doris could be is 111. Very good. Willard's hometown is either Greene or Plymouth. Willard, Greene, Plymouth. This also tells us it can't be Texas, because neither of those two can be Texans. It also makes me think, so Willard is not New Liberty, Jackson, or Fruitland, and obviously not Zachary, so he has to be from Oregon, Pennsylvania, or South Dakota. He's got to be on that list somewhere. Okay. All right, that's everything. Let's start back at the beginning. All right, the 7 people are Zachary, the 3 from Oregon, Pennsylvania, and South Dakota, and the 3 who live in New Liberty, Jackson, and Fruitland, which is not Connecticut. Okay. Good. Okay. Tehama is 2 years older than Jackson. Taha, we know, is Olivia. Not be 113, because Olivia can't. And that's 2 years older than Jackson, too. Get rid of that. And clean up Olivia. Scratch all this out. Great. So, very good. Okay, I think that's everything we know thus far. Oh, I see something interesting. 2 years apart, right? So if Jackson was here. Okay, so the 112-year-old must either be from Jackson or Tehama. Everything else gets crossed off because there's only 2 options and they're separated by the 2-year gap. So Jackson could be here and Tehama can be here, or Jackson could be here and Tehama could be here, but if Jackson was here and Tehama was here, it wouldn't be 2 years apart. So anything that can't be Jackson or Tehama can't be 112 years old. So, sorry, Shari. Okay. Anything else? Okay. Of Doris and the youngest of the 7, one is from Oregon and the other is from Fruitland. All right. Okay. How about this? Oregon and Fruitland both can only be either 109 years old or any age that Doris can be, which is pretty limited. So Oregon and Fruitland both can either be anything up to 111, but everything else goes. And as Fruitland is 1 year younger than South Dakota, so we can tighten that up. Good. And okay. Okay, the 113-year-old and New Mexico are either Zachary or New Liberty. New Liberty or West Liberty? I hope I'm not going to get confused there. You know, I think that I never actually finished this puzzle the first time I worked through it, in my last time I tried this book. And it might have been because of the New Liberty, West Liberty confusion. But, okay. New Liberty, is Zachary or New Liberty? There's nothing about West Liberty, is there? Come on, that's just a bad name. All right, no offense if you live in New West Liberty in the real world. I'm sure it's a lovely town. Plymouth is I'm skipping ahead, but Plymouth is 2 years younger than the Texan. That's good. That's no good anymore. And 1, 2, good. Okay. So Zachary or New Liberty. This isn't much, but New Mexico can't be 109. Which means it can't be Fruitland either. Because... Right? It can't be Fruitland because... the youngest of the 7... No, I guess it could still be Fruitland if it was Doris. Forget I said that. Plymouth. Plymouth is 1 year younger than Green. No, even less for the Texan. Okay. Now we have a lot that can't be Green or Plymouth, so we can cross those out for Willard, who can only be Green or Plymouth. Okay, let's start back at the top. The 7 people are Zachary, 3 from Oregon, Pennsylvania, South Dakota, New Liberty, Jackson, and Fruitland. Let's see. Doris lives in Fruitland or Oregon. Okay, how about this? Oregon has to either be Doris or anyone who could be the youngest, which is getting whittled down. Can't be Olivia, can't be Willard, can't be Zachary. And the same with Fruitland. Can't be Willard, can't be Olivia, can't be Zachary. Good. Ooh, I see something interesting. We now have two people who could only be Pennsylvania or South Dakota, because Olivia is Tama, and because Olivia why is it? Why can't Olivia be Oregon? I'm just not that I don't think it's true, I'm just double checking. Oh, obviously, because it doesn't line up. Because Olivia can't be Oregon because it doesn't line up, and Willard can't be Oregon because he has to be one of the 3, but not Oregon because it has to be, the youngest. Anyway, we now have 2 slots, 2 states that are taken. No one else can be Pennsylvania or South Dakota. Let's see. The only places, okay, so Willard can't be 113 because that can't be Pennsylvania or South Dakota. I would say the same for Olivia, but it's already eliminated. And the same for 109, they're both already eliminated. Okay. All right, Zachary has to either be the 113-year-old or the New Mexico native. 113 can only be Connecticut or Virginia. So his options are Connecticut, Virginia, or New Mexico. You can scratch out another one for Texas. Also, Doris can't be Texas because it just doesn't line up. So Texas is either Kyle or Shari. And if it's Shari, it'd have to be 115 because she can't be 112. And if it was 112, it would have to be either Jackson or Tahama. Well, it would have to be Jackson because Tahama is Olivia, not Shari. Well, actually, forget what I just said. Maddie is younger than Plymouth. Who is younger than Texas. Let's see. Okay, Doris can't be Connecticut because she must either be Oregon or Fruitland, and Fruitland can't be Connecticut. Oh, let's see. Oh, New Mexico cannot be Fruitland or Jackson because it has to either be Zachary, who can't be those two places, or New Liberty. So we could scratch out Fruitland, New Mexico, and we could scratch out Jackson, New Mexico. So now Fruitland can either be Texas or Virginia, but it can't be Texas, doesn't line up. So we have Fruitland, Virginia. We should double check that. So Fruitland couldn't be Connecticut, couldn't be Oregon, Pennsylvania, can't be Texas because it doesn't line up, and can't be New Mexico because, yep, very good. Okay, so Fruitland, Virginia. So Virginia. Now we have the same category for clue number 3. So Doris and the youngest are either Oregon or Virginia. Also, Virginia is found because Fruitland is one of the 7, not Connecticut. And then Doris is Mexico or Virginia. No, Oregon or Virginia, excuse me. Okay. And let's line this up. And doing that, we now have our Connecticut 113 because why is that? Because 113 had to either be Zachary or New Liberty, so it couldn't be any of these states. Couldn't be New Mexico. Can't be Fruitland, also because it's taken. And can't be Texas because I'm just double checking again because it just doesn't line up with Texas. Wait, because I can't. Oh yeah, because Texas has to be older than Plymouth by a certain. Yeah. So this is good. Okay, 113 is Connecticut. So now Zachary and New Liberty is either Connecticut or New Mexico. And New Liberty. Okay, interesting. So Connecticut. Is either Plymouth or West Liberty. So I'm getting that Connecticut can't be New Liberty. Connecticut, the 113-year-old, I should have noticed this sooner actually. The 113-year-old can't be New Liberty because New Liberty has to be 4 years older than Doris. So if Doris could be the youngest, then it would be possible. But since she can't, it's not possible. Therefore, Connecticut and the 113-year-old has to be Zachary, not New Liberty. And it has to be New Liberty, New Mexico. That has a ring to it. New Mexico, New Liberty. Dot there. And then Zachary in Connecticut. Okay, we know about Zachary, 113. Okay, now that we know that Connecticut is Zachary, it can't be Jackson. Actually, it couldn't be any. It couldn't be Fruitland, Jackson, or New Liberty, even though it's already taken. But this is important because it leaves Jackson in Texas. So Jackson is Texas. And if I'm not mistaken, there's only one slot where that could be true, so it's the 112. And that means Plymouth is 2 years younger than that. No, Tahana is 2 years older than that. Pardon me. Fruitland is 1 year older, 1 year younger than South Dakota. Get rid of that. Plymouth is 2 years younger than the Texan. Greene is 1 year older than Plymouth. Okay, good. West Liberty now has to be the 113, aka Zachary. And Fruitland has to be 109. So the youngest of the 7 is Fruitland, and Doris is Oregon. Is Oregon. All right, and now Fruitland, Virginia. We already knew, I think. But that would have, that would have meant it had to be there because all the other ones that were eliminated. Mexico is New Liberty. Is the oldest. We actually have all our cities. We have Fruitland, Plymouth, Greene, Jackson, West Liberty, Tehama, and New Liberty. And yes, and New Liberty. Good. Maddie is younger than the person from Plymouth. Oh, there's only one option that's younger than that. So she's our youngest, and therefore from Virginia, Fruitland, Virginia. Very good. And Fruitland is 1 year younger than the South Dakotan. And that gives us our Oregon, which is Doris. And that gives us our town, of course, Green. And if Doris is from Green, Willard has to be Plymouth, which is South Dakota. And that means Pennsylvania is Olivia. I believe we have all our states now. Let me clean up the board so I can be extra clear. Yep. We have all our states. Virginia, South Dakota, Oregon, Texas, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, and New Mexico. All right, now let's take it home and figure out the rest of the people. Okay, so is Plymouth. Good. Olivia is Tehama, Pennsylvania. So we have that. That means Shari has to be 115, and all that's left for Kyle is 112. And that should be everything. We have Maddie, Willard, Doris, Kyle, Zachary, Olivia, and Shari. Now let's check the answers. Okay, so we have Maddie, Willard, Doris, Kyle, Zachary, Olivia, Shari. Good. Virginia, South Dakota, Oregon, Texas, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, New Mexico. Good. Fruitland, Plymouth, Green, Jackson, West Liberty, Tehama, New Liberty. We got it. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm just going to clean up the board so that we can say we're finished here. If you're following along in order, which you don't have to, of course, but if you are, you might notice that we skipped a couple, 16 and 17. Number 16 is a haunted house theme, so I wanted to save that for Halloween, which is coming up. And the other one just had a bunch of place names. It was like departures and destinations, and just seemed like a pain. So we'll kick that one down the line. We'll get to it if I keep doing these videos. I hope to do the whole book, except for maybe a couple with very hard to pronounce, annoying clues. Connecticut. The other one. New Liberty. I should use this dead air time to remind you to like and subscribe. That's the rule of being a YouTuber. Voila! Thank you for watching.